The film commences with a television documentary featuring Chef Auguste Cousteau, the youngest chef in France, renowned for achieving a prestigious 5-star rating and operating the preeminent restaurant in Paris. Cousteau, also an accomplished author of a best-selling cookbook, espouses his guiding principle: anyone can cook. Subsequently, the narrative unfolds with Remy, a rat, providing insights into his life, emphasizing his heightened senses of taste and smell. Remy has more appreciation for food. Unlike his brother Emile and their father Django assigns Remy the task of inspecting and testing food for the rat colony. Unhappy with scavenging for food in the garbage, Remy aspires to access the kitchen for higher quality ingredients. Yet Django, harboring a strong disdain for humans, prohibits Remy from interacting with them. Remy ignores his father's warnings and spends several nights in the elderly woman's kitchen. Here, he immerses himself in Chef Cousteau's cookbook and cooking television programs, acquiring expert knowledge of cuisine. One day, Remy takes Emile to the kitchen to retrieve spices. While in the kitchen, Remy catches a glimpse of Cousteau on TV and learns that the renowned food critic Anton Ego gave Cousteau's restaurant a scathing review, resulting in the loss of one of its 5 stars. The devastated Cousteau passed away shortly after. Remy is devastated upon learning of Cousteau's demise. However, soon after, the elderly woman awakens. She attempts to shoot the 2 brothers, but instead damages her home in the process. The house's roof sustains multiple gunshot wounds, resulting in its collapse and exposing the entire rat colony. Remy's father commands the colony to escape. Yet Remy chooses to linger, seizing the opportunity to retrieve Cousteau's book. The rats flee down a river, all except Remy, who is separated from the group due to swift current within the sewers. Remy finds himself alone with the cookbook he stayed behind to retrieve. He begins to experience hallucinations as the illustrated Chef Cousteau seemingly comes to life to speak with him, encouraging Remy to ascend through the sewers and explore his surroundings. Remy discovers that he is in Paris, right in front of Cousteau's renowned restaurant. Within Cousteau's establishment, the new head chef Skinner encounters Alfredo Linguini. Linguini presents Skinner with a letter from his deceased mother Renata, Cousteau's old flame. She had hoped to secure a position at the restaurant. Linguini is immediately hired as a janitor. Remy makes his way to the skylight and notices Linguini causing the soup to spill and attempts to conceal his mistake by adding the wrong ingredients. Concerned the resulting combination would ruin the dish, Remy becomes agitated and accidentally falls into the restaurant through the skylight. Remy finds himself in various dangers as he navigates the kitchen in an attempt to escape. On his way out, Remy catches a whiff of the soup. Repulsed by its aroma, he begins to add ingredients to rectify the dish while refining the soup. Remy is captured by Linguini. In the commotion, Linguini attracts the kitchen staff's attention. Skinner believes Linguini tampered with the soup and begins to reprimand him. While distracted, Skinner is unable to prevent the waitstaff from serving the soup. Surprisingly, a food critic received the dish and expressed immersed satisfaction. Although Skinner is still inclined to fire Linguini, a chief named Colette argues that firing Linguini for producing a dish enjoyed by a customer would contradict the restaurant's motto and significantly damage its reputation. Skinner begrudgingly permits Linguini to remain under the condition that Linguini must recreate the soup. While the kitchen is distracted, Remy attempts to escape but is spotted by Skinner. Linguini captures Remy and Skinner instructs Linguini to dispose of the rat. Linguini hesitates to kill the rat as he sympathizes with the feeling of being trapped. Linguini expresses distress at not being able to reproduce the dish Remy made. However, is then shocked to see the rat understanding him. Therefore, Linguini decides to take Remy in to recreate the dish. The following morning, Linguini believes that Remy pilfered his food and vanished. In reality, Remy has prepared breakfast for both of them. Linguini realizes they are late for work. Upon arriving, Linguini attempts to find a discreet way for Remy to cook without detection, while almost being spotted by Skinner. After several attempts, they discover that Remy can manipulate Linguini by tugging on his hair. Both Linguini and Remy begin practicing cooking in this bizarre manner. Soon they can recreate the soup perfectly. Skinner assigns Colette the task of instructing Linguini. Later that evening, Skinner speaks with an agent, revealing that since Chief Chef Cousteau's demise, Skinner has exploited the Cousteau name and image through a line of inexpensive frozen foods. Afterwards, Skinner takes a moment and reads the letter from Linguini's mother. Shocked by the content inside, Skinner quickly calls his lawyer. It is revealed in the letter that Linguini is allegedly the son of Gusteau. The lawyer states that Skinner was soon to inherit Gusteau's business if no heir was found. However, Linguini is said to be Gusteau's son, and therefore the rightful heir. The lawyer takes a piece of hair from Gusteau's chef's hat and suggests a DNA test to confirm matters. Colette begins to train Linguini as well as Remy, unbeknownst to her, in the art of cooking. They begin to grow close as the days go by. During one evening, guests begin to tire of linguine soup and inquire about something new. At first, the staff began to panic, however, in an attempt to sabotage linguine. Skinner has the new chef prepare an old failed dish of Gusteau. While Colette initially follows the recipe, Remy through linguine begins making alterations. This angers Colette. Moments later, the head waiter bursts in announcing the customers love the dish, prompting several orders. Later that night, Skinner, suspicious of Linguini's talent, brings him into his office and attempts to extract information about his secrets, but without success. Meanwhile, resting outside, Remy sees a mischievous figure in the shadows. Remy is frightened and picks up the cheese knife to defend himself, only for the mysterious figure to be his brother Emile. Remy is delighted to find his brother. However, upon seeing Emile eating garbage, Remy goes to the kitchen to feed his brother. The ghost of Gusteau advises against stealing the food. Remy ignores his warnings and argues the food is for his brother. Remy attempts to teach Emile about food to no avail. Emile takes Remy to see their father. Django is thrilled to know his son is alive, however. The tension between the father and son rises when Remy expresses a desire to leave the colony and return to Linguini. Remy argues that his father is wrong about humans and they are not as bad as he made them out to be. Django then takes Remy to a store that displays rat extermination products, cementing his belief that rats cannot live alongside humans. However, Remy disagrees and departs from the colony, returning to Linguini. On the subsequent morning, Remy returns to the restaurant and discovers a fatigued Linguini. Upon Colette's sudden arrival, Remy scurries to conceal Linguini's exhaustion. When Colette arrives, she asks about Linguini's discussion with Skinner. However, Remy's awkward puppeteering of Linguini makes him seem ungrateful for Colette's help and slaps him awake. She confesses to being fond of Linguini, thinking he is different from other men, but is disappointed and storms off. Linguini chases after Colette, determined to reveal his secret. However, Remy, in a moment of panic, makes Linguini kiss Colette to keep himself secret. Conveniently, rather than placing a restraining, Colette returns her feelings for Linguini. We cut to Antonigo, working diligently, who was shocked by the news of Gusteau's recent popularity. He plans to visit Gusteau's and make sure his previous critic still stands. Later, Skinner's fears have come true as the DNA test confirmed Linguini to be Gusteau's legitimate heir. To prevent Skinner's frozen food business, the lawyer suggests that Skinner keep this revelation hidden until the deadline for Gusteau's work passes. Afterward, he can fire Linguini. Later at night, Linguini and Colette drive off in a motorcycle, causing Remy to be blown off and left behind. Soon after, Remy finds Emilio, who brought along more rats from the colony, hoping to get more food from Remy. Remy, attempting to find the key to the food safe in Skinner's office, discovers a letter revealing Gusteau's heir. Skinner then walks in and sees Remy. A chase ensues between Remy and Skinner through Paris for the will. Remy manages to lose Skinner, and when Skinner returns to the restaurant, he finds Linguini and Colette already aware of the contents of the will and letter. We cut to a montage of the restaurant thriving and gaining relevance once again, as well as moments of the rat colony repeatedly demanding more food, much to Remy's annoyance. Some time passes after the reveal of Linguini's inheritance, and a press conference is held. When the reporters ask about Linguini's secret to his success, Linguini states it is due to being the son of Gusteau and nothing else. This upsets Remy, who uses the opportunity to make Linguini hit himself. We then cut to Skinner making an anonymous call to a health inspector, stating there is a rat infestation at Gusteau's. We cut back to the press conference to see Linguini has become slightly arrogant due to his recent success. Suddenly, Antonigo, the esteemed food critic, introduces himself to Linguini, stating he would come by to review the restaurant. In a display of growing arrogance, Linguini chose to operate independently of Remy, unaware that Skinner is spying on the two and discovers the secret of Remy's culinary abilities. In response, when Remy's brother shows up with more hungry rats, rather than be upset, Remy decides to raid the kitchen that very night. However, the plan goes awry when Linguini returns to the restaurant to apologize to Remy, only to be surprised by the rats that have invaded the restaurant. Linguini expelled the rats, including Remy, cautioning him against returning or else he would treat him as any other restaurant would a pest. Remy is dejected and leaves Gusteau. The next day, Emile finds Remy near the restaurant, observing Linguini's failed attempt to lead. However, things take a turn for the worse as Emile is ensnared in a trap set by Skinner. Remy, in an attempt to rescue Emma, is captured instead. Skinner expressed his intent for Remy to use Remy for his new line of frozen food. The arrival of Anton Ego stirs panic in the kitchen. As the head waiter attempts to take his order, Ego orders the waiter to bring the best chef Linguini can muster. Cutting back to Remy, who was seemingly given up, but it was short-lived as his brother and father arrived with the rest of the colony to free Remy. Upon returning to the restaurant, Remy faced hostility from the kitchen staff, only to be shielded by Linguini. He reveals the truth about his culinary skills. This revelation causes the kitchen staff to depart, including Colette, leaving Remy and Linguini alone. Django, witnessing Linguini protecting Remy, acknowledges his son and orders the rat colony to work as Remy's new kitchen staff. Suddenly, the health inspector arrives and upon seeing the rat colony attempts to flee. Remy orders the rats to capture him and keep him from closing the kitchen down. Linguini sees the commotion and starts to wait tables on roller skates, ensuring seamless service. Colette, who had a change of heart, rejoined the kitchen, still hesitant but willing to help. Along with Colette, Remy decides to serve Ego Ratatouille, considered a peasant dish. Upon tasting it, Ego experienced a recollection of his childhood, a comforting memory of his mother serving the same dish. This emotional resonance was juxtaposed with Skinner's, who snuck his way back to the restaurant. He storms into the kitchen demanding to know who cooked the dish. This resulted in his confinement alongside the health inspector. Ego, profoundly moved by the culinary experience, sought to commend the chef. However, was asked to wait until closing to reveal the true chef. Later, Ego learns of Remy's culinary capabilities. The next day, Ego leaves a review praising Gusteau's, proclaiming Remy to be the finest chef in all of Paris, all while keeping Remy's identity as a rat a secret. Regrettably, the revelation of the restaurant's rat infestation led to it shutting down. We then cut to Remy retelling this story to others in a restaurant, and states despite all that happened, things worked out in the end. It is revealed that Ego, in collaboration with Colette, Linguini and Remy, established La Ratatouille, a bistro celebrating Gusteau's enduring legacy while secretly fostering harmonious coexistence between humans and rats. This is where the movie ends. I hope you enjoyed listening to this recap. Thank you all for listening. Have a good day.